The concepts covered are: how well have you learned about fractions? Multiplication of fractions, division of fractions. How well have you learned about decimal numbers? Multiplication of decimal numbers, division of decimal numbers. Fractions. A fraction is a number which can be written in the form a by b, where both a and b are natural numbers and the number a is called numerator and b is called the denominator of the fraction a by b. B is not equal to 0. For example, types of fraction. Proper fraction. A proper fraction is a fraction in which the numerator is smaller than the denominator. For example, improper fraction. An improper fraction is a fraction in which the numerator is greater than the denominator. For example, like fractions. The fractions with the same denominator are called like fractions. For example, unlike fractions. The fractions with different denominators are called unlike fractions. For example, unit fractions. The fraction with numerator 1 are called unit fractions. For example, etc. are unit fractions. Mixed fractions. Mixed numerals are combination of a whole number and a proper fraction. For example, equivalent fractions. If c by d equals m into a by m into b, then the fractions a by b and c by d are called equivalent fractions because they represent the same portion of the whole. For example, comparing fractions. Comparing like fractions. In like fractions, the denominators are the same. So, only numerators are compared. The one with bigger numerator is the bigger fractions. Example: 5 by 8 is greater than 3 by 8. Comparing unlike fractions. In unlike fractions, denominators are different. First, we make the denominators same. This is done by converting fractions into equivalent fractions. To do this, the LCM of different denominators. Each fraction is converted into a form such that the LCM is the common denominator of both the fractions. Example: 2 by 5 plus 4 by 3, LCM of 5 and 3 equals 15. Multiplication of fractions. Multiplication of a fraction with a whole number. To multiply a whole number by a fraction, we simply multiply the numerator of the fraction by the whole number, keeping the denominator same. Example: multiplication of mixed fraction with a whole number. Convert the given mixed fraction into an improper fraction, then multiplying the numerator by the whole number. Example: 8 times 5 1 by 6. Convert the mixed fraction into an improper fraction. Multiplying the numerator by the whole number. Simplifying into lowest term. Multiplication of a fraction by a fraction. If we have to multiply the proper or improper fraction with another fraction, then we simply multiply the numerator of both the fractions and the denominator of both the fractions separately and write them as the new fraction. Example: division of fractions. Dividing a whole number by a fraction. If we have to divide the whole number with the proper or improper fraction, then we will multiply that whole number with the reciprocal of the given fraction. Example: dividing whole number with a mixed fraction. First convert the mixed fraction into improper fraction and multiply its reciprocal with the whole number. Example: dividing a fraction with a whole number. To divide the fraction with a whole number, we have to take the reciprocal of the whole number, then divide it with the whole number as usual. Example: dividing a fraction with another fraction. To divide a fraction with another fraction, we have to multiply the first fraction with the reciprocal of the second fraction. Example. Decimal numbers. Numbers with a point are decimal numbers. Fractions which has denominator 10, 100, 1000 etc. are called decimal fractions. Numbers left to the decimal are 10 greater and numbers to the right of the decimal are 10 smaller. Addition of decimal numbers. The rules for addition of numbers with decimals are as follows. Numbers are written under each other. The decimal points lie under each other, in the same vertical line. Addition is done column-wise. Addition is started from the right-hand side and then we move to the left-hand side. Example. Subtraction of decimal numbers. The rules for subtraction are as follows. The smaller number is written under the bigger number. The numbers are written in such a way that the decimals are in the same vertical line. Subtraction is started from the right-hand side. Example. Multiplication of decimal numbers. Multiplication of a decimal number with a whole number. For multiplying the whole number with a decimal number, then we will multiply them as normal numbers, but the decimal place will remain the same as it was in the original decimal number. Example. 35 times 3.45 equals 120.75. Here we have multiplied the number 35 with 345 as normal whole numbers, and we put the decimal at the same place from the right as it was in 3.45. Multiplication of a decimal numbers by 10,000, 100 and 1000. For multiplying the decimal number by 10, we have to transfer the decimal point to the right by one place. Example. 5.37 times 10 equals 53.7. To multiply a decimal number by 100, then we will transfer the decimal point to the right by two places. Example. 5.37 times 100 equals 537. To multiply a decimal number by 1000, then we will transfer the decimal point to the right by three places. Example. 5.37 times 1000 equals 5370. Multiplication of a decimal number by another decimal number. When two decimal numbers are multiplied, we simply multiply the numbers without their decimal points. Then we count the total number of digits after the decimal point, taking both the decimal numbers. The decimal point is placed in the product such that the total number of digits after the decimal point is equal to the total number obtained. Example. Division of decimal numbers. Dividing a decimal number with a whole number. First, divide the decimal number as whole numbers, but the decimal place will remain the same as it was in the original decimal number. Example. 149.236 divided by 8. Dividing a decimal number by 10. For dividing a decimal number by 10, then we have to transfer the decimal point to the left by one place. Example. 5.37 divided by 10 equals 0.537. Dividing a decimal number by 100. For dividing a decimal number by 100, then we have to transfer the decimal point to the left by two places. Example. 253.37 times 100 equals 2.5337. Dividing a decimal number by 1000. For dividing a decimal number by 1000, then we will transfer the decimal point to the left by three places. Example. 255.37 times 1000 equals 0.25537. Dividing a decimal number by another decimal number. To divide a decimal number with another decimal number, first, we have to convert the denominator as the whole number by multiplying both the numerator and denominator by 10, 100 etc. Now we can divide them as we had done before. Example.